For months, every screen and headline has shouted the exact same message. This election is the single most consequential event in history. Salvation, they say, requires a single heavy pull of the lever. You cast your ballot and ride that quick surge of civic participation back to your car. Then, 48 hours pass. The triumphant political ads vanish, and you look around. The roads are still crumbling. Your property taxes continue their climb. Local small businesses are still being squeezed out by zoning boards, and federal regulations still dictate how you run your household. The face sitting behind the desk in Washington might have swapped out for a different color, but the heavy, grinding machinery below it, the administrative machine, remains untouched. We're going to break down exactly how this machine operates and how to starve it. Hit subscribe and stay with me to the very end to see the practical methods for reclaiming your independence. When you recognize that nothing in your daily reality actually changed, a sickening thought sets in. You haven't exercised self-governance. You've participated in an elaborate ritual engineered to make you feel like you chose your own warden. How does a massive, centralized administrative state maintain absolute control over 300 million free people without triggering a permanent, boiling revolution? It doesn't use brute force alone. Instead, it relies on the manufacture of consent. Rather than kicking down your door, the state wraps you in a web of bureaucratic fees, licenses, and zoning restrictions, securing your voluntary surrender. This machine functions on three primary gears. The first is the two-party illusion. The system engineers perpetual, managed conflict between two wings of the same administrative bird. It keeps the population divided into permanent, hostile camps, arguing over cultural surface waters. While citizens tear each other apart over political rhetoric, the permanent bureaucracy quietly expands its budget and its jurisdiction without any real oversight. As long as citizens exhaust their energy on each other, the hidden engine room of the state remains completely safe from inspection. Once the population is distracted, the machine engages the second gear, the weaponization of legality. This chart compares a human's maximum lifetime reading capacity against an exponential curve tracking the federal code's growth. With tens of millions of pages, no living human can read all the laws they must follow. When every citizen is inadvertently a criminal under some obscure statute, the rule of law is replaced by selective enforcement. This turns independent citizens into compliant subjects who dare not question authority for fear of a regulatory raid. The final mechanism holding this together is the third gear, the comfort trap. The state trades away true liberty for the hollow promise of safety. It offers to manage your health and regulate your risks, provided you surrender your right to think, build, and fail independently. The most effective cage is one with an open door that no one wants to walk through. Citizens voluntarily stay inside because they fear the risks of true independence more than the loss of their sovereignty. Once you recognize that the system is engineered to extract your compliance, your perspective shifts. A machine built on citizen compliance can only be starved by citizen withdrawal. Reclaiming your sovereignty doesn't happen by participating louder in a rigged game. It happens by stepping off the board entirely and refusing to trade your unalienable rights for administrative convenience. First, stop outsourcing your critical thinking. Sever your reliance on centralized narrative feeds designed to manufacture panic, and begin verifying facts within your own community. Second, strengthen your local sphere. Channel your energy and your capital into your immediate geographic footprint and hold local officials strictly accountable to the rule of law. Third, reclaim your self-reliance. Rebuild your capacity to provide and solve problems without turning to the state for permits, grants, or approvals. The less dependent you are on government validation to sustain your family, the less leverage the administrative state holds over your soul. To get the detailed framework for withdrawing from the administrative matrix, click the link in the description for a copy of The Illusion of Consent. It is the first step towards standing on principle rather than bowing to permission.